Alright, you guys, I went over a little bit with the last video. I think it was like 15 minutes and 15 seconds or something like that. So basically what I did was I started up my Apache web server, and then I went over into wherever my directory was where I had my files, and originally I was using this active record folder. Well, this is the one that I've been using to go over this video with you guys, is the YouTube_active record. So if I click on that, it's going to give me an error. Empty query, database line 41. Hold on, I'm going to take a look at this. I might have had some error in my code somewhere. Okay, so I figured it out. It's probably one of the most important pieces to this whole project, so make sure you pay attention to this. I forgot to actually return my SQL. So once it's all been created, I'm returning it back out, and now it should work no problem. I'll take a look at this one too. Alright, that was just a stupid typo on my part. I had CO rather than OC, which is what it's supposed to be for MySQL I fetch ASOC. So now if I come back over here and I refresh, you'll notice that Nicholas Hewitt gets pulled up. Now if I go and look at my rows, then you'll see that they are all the same. Now if I were to update my index.php file, excuse me, that's my old one, instead of load, whoops, data equals array, fname, Fred, and I'm just going to create a new user here. So Fred, lname, Fred Flintstone, and then email, and this is just going to be mybedrocks@gmail.com. Okay. And now we are going to take our user object and bind the data to our object. And then the last piece is going to be user.store. So we're saving it to the database. Now if I run it and just do this, well, we still get our thing gets updated, but argument supplied for each, line 55. Let me take a look at that real quick. Oh, another typo. Jeez, I'm getting really bad typos tonight. So class vars have two S's. Now if I retry that, just want to make sure that it wasn't inserted into my database, which I have a null object, so I'll just do delete from users where ID is equal to 3. Okay. Now if I try it again, okay, that's fixed. Alright, now I'm just going to refresh the page. So Fred Flintstone should get inserted into my database, and it does not. Okay, what's going on here? Alright, I'm going to figure this out. Hold on. Okay, so I made a mistake. I was using values, and I was just passing in the value here, which is getting created here. I actually want to get the value of the key that I'm currently looking at in my class variables. So I have to replace it with this, and then do the arrow key to get that value. And then I also noticed that I also have to put single quotes around this, or else it won't work. And this is my fault. Just probably something I overlooked pretty quickly. So once I save that, come back out here and refresh it, I'm still echoing out my query statement. But once that works, then here, this is just something I just did to show you that I didn't have any users of Fred Flintstone in there, and now I do. And then I can just update that again. The nice thing is now I'm going to create a new table called pages, or maybe I want to call it notes or something like that. So I'll do create table notes and we'll do ID int 10 primary key auto increment. And I'm not going to get into detail with this. I've already taken long enough on these videos, so we'll do title variable character 255 content varchar to actually no, I'm going to do text. Close that out. Alright, so now I have my table, and if I select everything from notes, we have an empty set. Now I want to make it easy, and I want to create a new object to access those notes in that table. So I'll do new PHP file, do notes.class.php, class notes extends table, and then we are going to create var title is equal to null. Oops, just want null. Var content is equal to null, and var table, I'm going to do protected, is equal to notes. There we go. Alright, so now that's all I really needed to do to create my new class, but now I want to use it. How do I do that? So instead of creating the user object, I'm just going to comment this whole thing out. I'm going to create a new notes object. Oh, my other video just got done. Again, disregard those. Okay, notes equals new notes. So create a new object, and then we'll do data equals array title. I'll give it a title nix note. Content goes here. This was created by Nick as an example. There we go. And now we'll just bind it. And notes.store. Alright, so theoretically this should work, no problems. I'll give it a shot and we'll hope for the best. But I'll explain why I'm using an associative array to insert the information afterwards. So if I come back over here, one thing I do want to do is echo notes get title notes content. Alright, and I'm going to do dash dash. Alright, so now if I save that and I rerun my page, that just ran, so now I should have no problems. And if I look at select star from notes, still getting an empty set. Alright, hold on. Apparently it's getting too late because I opened up another tab apparently. Class notes not found, and that's as easy as adding it to the include list here. Alright, so I'll save that. Now I'll rerun it. Looks like it's okay, and if I check, I have my notes created. And I don't think I ever covered updating a record. So if I want to update something, let's say I want to I'm going to load ID1 into the table, or into my object, and then I'm going to change this to updated, created, and updated, just so that way we can see that our content was updated. And then afterwards I'm going to bind it back in and store it, so it shouldn't make a difference. And now if I rerun that page, you'll see that all this looks okay. And if I go back over here, whoops, come on, there we go. You should see the title and content update as it did. So the reason why I chose to do associative arrays rather than anything else is because when you create a form and you send information over through post, it's an associative array. So you get the ID or the name of the field or the input entry that you had on your in your table, or now I'm just talking randomly, in your form. It'll create that associative array, and then you can just create those input fields as the same name as your table. And you can just use the post, and you can do the same thing that I did. And I'm actually going to look into a way to ignore certain or pass in something that you want to ignore, but it'll make it a lot easier to save information from a form. I'm going to do an example on that once I get some free time. It's almost midnight now, but I'm going to finish up this video and try and upload this stuff. If you guys have any questions, send me an email or post a comment. I'd be happy to help you guys with this. It did take a little while, and it was probably a little convoluted in the way that I tried to explain it, but I wanted to explain why it was beneficial, and hopefully at the end of this video you saw why to use these methods rather than just using standard database SQL and all that, or MySQL, through hand coding. It makes it a lot easier, and down the road I can create table upon table upon table and just create new objects based on it. And I can save, update, and then eventually once I add the delete function, I can delete those entries in the database pretty quickly. So hopefully you guys found it useful. Hopefully you guys will use this in some of your stuff, and you will see the power in object-oriented PHP. But I'm going to keep on going with my framework. Once I get some more time, I'm really going to nail down the specifics, get my classes. I'm going to start doing my model view controller design pattern and get all that stuff in place, so that way it'll be a pretty quick and easy transition from Joomla, which actually this was based on Joomla, the way that they have their data access objects set up. So I'm kind of taking a page out of their book. I thought it was a really good way to do it, but now I'm just rambling on, and I'm sure you guys don't want to listen to me. So have a good night, guys, and I'll catch you later. Take care.